Good afternoon. Welcome back to Capital Catch Up. I'm so glad that you all are joining me this Monday afternoon. So I'm going to dig right in. Capital Catch Up, we're going to start with the catch up. What happened last week? Last week was the deadline for most bills and joint resolutions to be heard in committee of the opposite chamber. We still have a little over 740 bills that remain alive through this process. One of the interesting things that happened last week is that we had a lot of bill changes. There were 6 education bills where the language that had been brought over from one chamber was completely gutted and different language was added to the bill. So those bills will continue to go through the process. They will have to go in the opposite chamber, and then they're going to have to go back to their origin chamber to be voted on. So bills that had really large, substantive, changes like that, it does slow down their growth because they will have to go back and be voted on again. So one of the bills worth noting that had substantive changes was House Bill 2693. In its original state, it reinstated the National Board Certification renewal and bonuses. And so we were disappointed to see that bill change. We heard from one of the supporters of that bill, Senator Stanley, in committee, and she reiterated that she wants National Board Certification to be a forefront, but mentioned that it may not happen until next session, but who knows, this session has been unique. But that language change, it now creates a micro-credentialing process in civics. It asks the State Department of Ed and OEQA to convene a working group, which would include pertinent education stakeholders to determine the requirements to earn a micro-credential in civics. This doesn't have to do with certification, so certification for educators doesn't change. This just provides an opportunity for someone who's interested in digging deeper into civics to have an opportunity to be micro-credentialed in it. The other interesting piece of that bill is it does away with the standardized U.S. history test in high school, which was something that we have been pushing for year after year. And so it was just kind of an interesting piece we wanted to pass on to you. So this week, this is the deadline for bills to be heard in opposite chambers is April 22nd. And so the next 2 weeks are really going to be crazy. The bill that we will focus on again this week is Senate Bill 634. So last week, Senate Bill 634 was heard in the Rules Committee. In the Rules Committee, there were House proposed language changes to that bill. And so what it did was it added secondary liability insurance for all school staff, and it eliminated the email confirmation when signing up to be a member every year. So no longer did an administrator have to email members, and that member had to, send that back before the payroll deduct could begin. For us, these changes made no impact on our frustration and opposition to this bill. We know, based on conversations with districts, we were able to kind of look at what the cost would be for administration to every year have to reinstate every single staff member when they are signing up for payroll deduct. And it would cost the districts across the state in total $7 million. The other piece is the liability insurance piece has not been explained well, so we're unsure how it would work and how much it would cost. Our goal has always been, as your voice at the Capitol, to ensure that education funding stays in the classroom. And so the administrative cost of both of these components, yearly signups and liability insurance, detracts from getting money into the classroom. And so therefore we continue to be opposed to this bill. We are also frustrated because this bill only targets professional education associations. It's a targeted, and it feels really unfair and unnecessary. So we're asking you all, please step up. We have to educate our House members on why this bill is not a bill that supports our schools, our educators, and definitely doesn't do anything for students in the classroom. So please reach out to your House member. The other piece I just want to say to everybody is kind of a little asterisk. There are still a lot of weeks left. And while we have been focusing on legislation, the budget talks are beginning. Education receives the largest state allotment, and so we are probably the beginning of most legislators' discussions on how to fund the budget overall, and we're probably the end component piece. So we know over the next few weeks there's going to be a lot of negotiations between Senate and House, and even bills that have already been passed, like the funding formula bill, may have an impact on how budget negotiations go. So NonDoc had a great article that kind of gave a long overview of the education budget process and what it's shaping up to be this year. And so we have a link to that. You can go visit their website to read about it. So thank you all for joining us. Reach out to us anytime if you have questions on any of the bills or on the bills that I discussed today. We're here for you, and we appreciate you tuning in each week. Have a great Monday. I know many of you have started state testing, so good luck, and we will see you next Monday.